Good morning. It is Scott Collin. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Cannata Report. Great to be with you today for another episode of Fridays with Frank. Before I bring Frank out, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And Frank, how you doing this morning? And all of us can't wait to hear your take on the Konica Minolta Fujifilm announcement. So take it away.
I'm really excited about our session today because we were as you're aware, we were all invited to a press conference on a rush basis. I guess it was last Monday. And it was by KM and to explain what was going on. Now, we didn't get the invite till Friday, and so there was a kind of sense of urgency here, which kind of intrigued me that KM was that interested in getting the word out. And fundamentally, the reason was the leadership of KM, beginning with Sam Errigo, said, let's get in front of this because a lot of people are going to misinterpret what it is the company is doing. And he had, and based upon, I think, I've never discussed this with Sam, but he saw what happened with the Toshiba Ricoh announcement. You had dealers going around saying, well, Ricoh's buying Toshiba. It's only a question of time. It's consolidation. Well, BS. That's not what it was at all. It was a simple factor of people two manufacturers combining their resources to build a facility that would produce parts and key elements of new devices together, reduce their costs significantly. Period. End of story. And I think Sam saw what went on, and this is only my surmise. He said, let's get ahead of this. So let me get right into it. He announced it as, and excuse me, I have to read from my notes on this. And normally I don't like to do this, but I have to. The way Sam addressed it, he called it a policy reform in three key areas. Talked about the business selection and relocations of resources, structural reform, policy reform, use of technology to replace, replace people, because there was going to be a reduction of 2,400 people in the organization, not in the United States. Very important. So somebody reads that is going to say, well, who are they going to let go here? No, that is not the case. The way he framed it, he said it's a minimal impact in the United States, and we are not selling branches. So he let it off. He really just let it off by saying these are things that are not going to happen with this announcement. And the target is 20 billion yen in increase of 20 billion yen in FY25. And it's all about using the resources they have in a much better way. And of course, as I indicated, he referred to AI. They looked back at the experience they had with the supply chain disaster. And what they wanted to do was create a supply chain that could never possibly experience that again. And he talked about what went on, where containers were running as much as $30,000. And it was just incredible, the increased costs. So what KM did is they took a look at their strategies and said, what we're going to do going forward in MFP and production print. Now, if I was going to be a partner, I'm a Japanese manufacturer, and I was going to be a partner in MFP and production, Fuji is the best company to do it with. They're interested in manufacturing, not in distribution. They are interested in distribution, but let Xerox run with it. Let the now Sharp is also running with their product. And what KM has done is formed a very similar arrangement that Toshiba and Ricoh did to manufacture. And particularly, Fuji has the added advantage of being very strong in production print. So this can only reinforce and help KM, which also has a strong production print product. People underestimate KM. I know they went through a bad time during COVID, but the reality is they have an excellent production print product line. They have an excellent wide format product line. They also are one of the few companies in our industry that has a print capability on fabric. They're textile producers. They have a very substantial company that they were set to introduce in the United States in 2020. And because of COVID, they had to stop. And they were to the point where they had already received the early machines, and they had to send them back because it would have been chaos to try and launch such a broad, aggressive program as that. But fundamentally, these are their own resources, and what they're doing, they're making it easier for them to compete by joint manufacturing in the critical area of parts. Now, what does parts mean? Could be engines. That's done all the time. We always cite the Canon HP relationship. Every HP engine is produced by Canon. So in this case, also what Sam made a reference to is he said it's not only KM is looking to do this. Fuji was very interested in doing this. In addition to going on with product development, toner development. Now that to me is very interesting because they did have a very serious fire, which caused them great problems. But he referred to that as a joint venture, and I guess it's the way he couched it was perfect. This is a focus on the future. It's a means to create a competitive advantage, to stabilize the business for Konica Minolta and their dealers, and avoid risk. It's that simple. I don't know any other thing that I could add, but what he left the door open for, future alliances, which I thought was key. Technology is moving very quickly. Think about the partners you could bring on that could help you take advantage of the advanced technology. They want to be able to offer opportunities for increased market share to their customers, to their dealers in the United States. And the name of the game to do that is they've got to work hard to produce increased market share. This is not going to happen overnight. He referred to it as a year-long process. And this year is going to be spent working on the joint venture. Good job, KM. That's what needs to be done, and they're doing it. The dealers have been asking us, and Scott, you know this better than anybody, who's going next? Who's going to sell? Who's going to sell? Who's going to sell? Nobody. Nobody's going to sell. The people, they underestimate the manufacturers, the 6 major manufacturers in Japan, and even the others that we don't mention, like Fuji, like Epson, like Brother. All these companies are very, very committed to the business. And what they're looking for is sustainability. The same thing dealers should be looking for. How do we sustain? And what KM did is they had a press conference that was all about KM saying, this is the way we gain sustainability. That's my story.